You know, I wish somehow I could get through to some people about the opportunities with silver. Why do I even care? Why do I even care that they get involved? Because I see such an opportunity. If anyone was to take the time to research the silver market, you just scratch your head and say, how could this be? I mean, it's kind of the opposite of the housing market, where you scratch your head and say, how can this be? But how can this work? I mean, this is ridiculous. Why am I getting an adjustable rate mortgage when interest rates are at, 60-year lows? Why am I getting into this interest-only loan, or this negative amortizing loan that's had the amount of money I owe on the house goes up every month? I mean, all these ridiculous type loans. Doesn't make any sense. But if you look at the silver market, you're saying, well, we got this demand going up, and we have the supply is not really increasing all that much, and then we got this fake paper market where they've sold 100 paper shares of silver, every physical one, into the hundreds of millions, and you scratch your head for silver and you just say, wow, man, I can't believe that it's only $18.50 an ounce. A few of the things going for silver, there's so many things in silver's favor. To me, it sort of feels like the getting in on Microsoft in 1978 kind of would have been getting into silver maybe 5 years ago, but it hasn't really taken off yet. Aside from the traditional uses in coinage and photography, jewelry, silverware, and things like batteries, bearings, soldering, electronics, I think it's important that we look at the emerging uses, the medical field, mirrors and coating, solar energy, and water purification. The one great thing about silver is that the supply is dwindling. We had in the world gold inventories increasing from the 1940s up until recently, from about 1 billion up to 5 billion ounces. Gold is not consumed like silver. I said today to a guy at work, I said, we've consumed all the silver. He says, how do you consume silver? I said, well, it's used in such, minute little pieces inside of electronics and cell phones and computers that a lot of it's not retrievable, or it's not even cost effective to try and retrieve it. So it's lost in landfills. I mean, you'd think that wouldn't be a large amount, but as the economies around the world are growing, China is growing leaps and bounds. People are leaving what they grew up in, dirt floor houses, and now they're living more like in the Western world with indoor plumbing and refrigerators and dishwashers, microwaves. All that stuff has tons of silver in it. A lot of the window panes, solar energy. I heard that in the windows, the silver, real fine coat of silver inside the glass, reflecting 95% of the sun's rays. I mean, that's one of the new emerging markets for silver in the mirrors and coating. And the coatings, are using it in paint now because of the antibacterial properties, and it doesn't allow fungus to grow, and they can use that in hospitals and jails and in the coating industry. So that's one of the huge emerging markets, is the mirrors and coating industry. But back to what I was talking about, the gold's gone from 1 billion to 5 billion ounces. But from 1940 till now, silver's gone from 10 billion down to 1 billion. So there's actually less silver available than gold. But most people don't know that. And gold's always been, at least 15 times the price of silver up until the last 100 years. But No one's ever really caught on to the fact that there's less silver. Most people don't follow the silver market, precious metals markets, and most people just don't know because the price has not been allowed to go up by the banks. The banks, they haven't wanted the price to go up. They got huge short positions on it right now. It's like 100 to 1 paper to silver. I mean, that whole thing's going to explode one of these days. Don't know when that's going to be. Who knows, but it's going to happen. And the banks, they don't want people saving money. Why would they want people investing in silver? Because then they're saving something real. They want them to be borrowing money. Just like the government wants everyone to be borrowing money. Buy a house, buy a car. All those stimulus packages that they've been running is all trying to get people into debt. The antibacterial properties in silver is really taken off in the medical field. A lot of different hospitals are incorporating silver into their bandages because it's antibacterial and it stops infection, and so the body can heal itself faster. So it helps in speeding up the healing process. Now, the medical uses for silver have been known for a long time. Ships coming across from Europe, knew that vessels filled with different things like wine and such would keep longer in the silver because it wouldn't allow it to spoil. Back in Roman times, it tossed silver coins into the milk jugs so that it wouldn't spoil. So they've known about this, but it's really coming out now. They're using it in furniture in hospitals, in bedding. It's being woven in real fine into sheets. It's really taken off in the medical field and all the medical surgical tools. So that's another one, the medical field. We have the coatings and mirrors, which I talked about. We also have in solar energy is a viable energy. It's a clean source of energy, and silver is a big part of that. Down near Barstow, California, there's about 1,926 mirrors, I believe, that are reflecting the sun and heating it into some type of salt formation, and they're creating energy out of it enough to power 10,000 homes. So, the future's extremely bright in solar energy. Excuse the pun. And then the last industry I want to talk about was water purification. We're starting to see silver used a lot in water purification so they can do away with the chlorine and bromide things like that are dangerous chemicals. Silver doesn't allow algae to grow, and it's being used in filtration systems, and that's just starting to take off. I mean, I haven't even heard of filter cartridge for my pool yet. I haven't even seen anything on the market as like a cartridge filter or anything like that yet, but that market's also starting to take off. So as we're continuing to outstrip silver, the uses for silver are just increasing on almost a daily basis. Some people may say, well, heck, why should I listen to you? You're not a millionaire. And I said, well, I'll turn you on to a millionaire who's saying the same exact thing I am about silver. I mean, it's such a huge opportunity. I mean, the whole world is flooded with paper nothings. They're all debt. And when that whole house of cards comes tumbling down, I hope you have something to stand on, rather than just a blank checkbook from all the credit that was in the computer at the bank, or a bunch of stack of $100 bills that you just flip a match on them and they're gone. I mean, you need to have some gold and silver, but if you're holding on to some paper dollar that your great-grandfather earned and you spend it now, I mean, he worked hard for that dollar and you go spend it now, and what do you get, a pack of gum?